Hello students, so let us move on to next topic, that is phrasing the menu. So whenever you see a particular menu, you have to understand how you can create the menu titles. Okay, so you have menu titles and under the menu you will be having choices and you have to know how to describe these choices. We call it as choice descriptions, and also certain choices will lead to web navigations. Okay, so how to create the web navigation links, that also we'll be studying here, and we will be having certain menu instructions also that is presented to the user, and in detail we are going to study how we can have a menu indent indicators and also keyboard equivalents. So certain keyboard equivalents you may be seeing on the screen. So for example, here you have revert, is it? So corresponding to that you have a keyboard equivalent, that is F12. So that is called how you can create a that is keyboard equivalent, and also certain keyboard accelerators also you'll be seeing on the menu. Okay, so we will be studying how you can create all these menu and menu titles, choice descriptions, or you can say keyboard equivalents, how you have to present on the screen. So that we will be studying in the phrasing the menu. Okay. A menu must communicate information about the nature and purpose of the menu itself. So whenever you are going to describe a particular menu or when you are going to display a particular menu, it has to show what is the purpose of the menu. Okay, so that is actually the main goal of creating a menu. And next point is the nature and purpose of each presented choice. So under the menu you will be having number of choices. So what is the purpose of the choice, that also has to be described. And how the proper choice or choices may be selected. Okay, so you have to give an instruction for the user that how you can select a particular choice. Okay, so for example, you are having here a file menu. Okay, under the file menu you have number of choices. For example, new, open, browse, open as, open recent, like this, close all. But how you can, so suppose if you want to close a particular file, you have to remember that you have to go to file menu, is it? So this is actually presented to the user. So how he can easily select a particular choice under a particular menu, that also has to be shown in a proper manner. And when a menu is being displayed on the screen, any menu, if you are seeing a pop-up menu or a cascaded menu or hierarchical menu, any kind of menu it may be, but when it is being presented on the screen, it will be shown in a small area, is it? So you will be having certain constraints and limitations on what people want to read, or what is being displayed on the screen will be having certain limitations. So you cannot when you are seeing a menu, you cannot display it in entire screen. Okay, you have to take a small portion of the screen and you have to display the menu and menu choices. And also it's very important to note that menu's ability to enable the user to accurately predict where is the choice will lead to. So whenever you are selecting, so for example, you have here under file you have open recent. Okay, opening the recent files. So suppose if a user wants to open a recent files, then he has to understand, if I go to a particular file, okay, this particular menu, that is file, you can open the recent files. So that is the menu's ability. So here user also has to understand that if he goes to file menu, he can open the recent files, and also menu has to display it in a proper manner. Okay, simply if it displays in a different manner, you cannot understand whether you can open the recent files. Okay, so it's a menu's ability to enable the user to accurately predict where the choice will lead to. And also if it is a very tedious task to go into the particular task, okay, for example, here if he wants to save one particular file, he will go to file menu, and then his choice is now saved, is it? So if it is very tedious task to go into this particular menu choice, okay, and that will lead to frustrations among the users. So that should not happen. So whenever a menu is being created, it should be very easily accessible to any of the user. So that is also we have to understand how in the phrasing the menu. So let us understand the first guideline of creating a menu title. So here let us understand what are the points you have to remember when you are creating a main menu, sub menu, and some of the general instructions. Okay, and let us see here an example which has got a main menu and also a sub menu. Okay, so here a main menu is you have about format. Okay, a format. Okay, and this format is very short, simple, and clear, is it, for the viewer? So the point here is whenever you create a main menu, it should be very short, simple, clear, and it should be very distinctive title describing the purpose of entire series of choices. So that means whenever you look into format, this is an example here. Okay, this is a main menu title you have, that is format. So whenever you see into this particular menu title, you have to understand what may be the contents under it. Okay, so it has to show the purpose here is it has to show entire series of choices. So choices here is cells, row, column, sheet, auto format, style, placement. Okay. And you know that this main menu title is very short, very simple, and also clear. Now, a sub menu you have. What is a sub menu? See, under the choice column, you have got one more. It leads to one more sub menu. So that is having the choices as width, auto fit, height, unhide, standard width. So how should be this sub menu? Sub menu titles must be worded exactly the same as the main choice menu choice, and it should be menu choice previously selected to display them. So that means there should be a connection between whatever you are going to select and what is being displayed on the screen. Okay, so this menu sub menu is worded exactly as the same of the menu choice. So only if you select the format and then column, then you can select the width here. Okay, so that should be a continuity, that is structural continuity we say. So there should be a structural continuity between the main menu and the sub menu. Okay, and next point is general. Locate the title at the top of the listing of choices. So always remember that you cannot keep this title somewhere else. Maybe here you cannot keep it. Okay, you have to keep it the title always at the top of the listing of choices. So now you have choices. How many choices you have for format? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 choices you have. So both these choices, 7 choices, you have kept title, that is format. Okay. And next is spell out the title fully using either uppercase font or mixed case font in the heading style. So you have to have a title above the listing of choices, and then it should be started with the use uppercase font. The first letter should be uppercase font, or if you have somewhat bigger lines, then you may have to have a mixed case fonts also. Okay, superfluous titles should maybe omitted. That means any titles which is very difficult to understand should be always avoided. So that is one more point we have to remember here. So next guideline is about menu choice descriptions. See, whenever you have a menu will include the menu title and then you'll be having number of choices. So here a menu with title you have file. It has got new, open, browse, open as, open recent. So all these are choices in case of this particular menu. Is it? So again you have number of other choices as well. So let us understand how you can describe this particular menu choice. Menu choice or menu item description should be very familiar and also it should be fully spelled out. Okay, see whenever you have, for example, here you have new, open, close, close as, close all, and save as. So this is very simple words and also it's very familiar to the users and also it's spelled, fully spelled out words. So that means fully spelled out words means you have to avoid abbreviations when creating the menu. Okay, for example, certain words with the shortcuts, like words you have something like IPB. Okay, so such abbreviations you should be always avoided while having a menu choices. And these menu choices, whenever you are having, it should be very concise. So concise means it should be with few words. Okay, not too much words. See here you have open as smart object. So this is one of the choice description, but it is with few words, not lengthy sentence. And also it should be distinctive in that sense. It should be constructed of words that make each choice clearly different from all others. So whenever you have open as smart object, see again you have open recent. So it started with word open itself, but it is very distinct in nature because this is open recent, so it does a different task, and it has another choices. You have open as smart object. This is a completely it is a different sentence, you can say, or combination of words, and it is doing a different task. So it is very distinctive, is it? So create a distinctive menu choices. And next we have descriptions. But whenever you are having a particular menu choices, for example, you may have you may choose certain words like save. Okay, so which is very familiar to the user. Okay, instead of writing some other words, it's very easy to understand for the user. Is it? Close is also a very similar word. So use a highly imaginary keywords. Okay, so that low imaginary words should be always avoided. Highly imaginary words, keywords should be used. Okay, so instead of writing this close as a menu choice, something different if you are using, then it may be leading to confusion among the user, and also he may not be familiar with what exactly the task it does. Okay, so that's why better to choose a highly imaginary keywords like close, new, open, save, or share, like this. Okay, it's very it tells. See, for example, print is one of the keyword. It prints the file. Okay, instead of writing something else other than print, it is something, if you really describe in a different manner, then it may lead to confusion. So what is share? Share is usually used word, is it? So that is very familiar to the user. So like this words should be used. And also whenever you are choosing a particular menu choices, you have to ask for non-experts or unexperienced users should be contacted for choosing the right choices. Okay, so that is one more point we have to remember here. And next is descriptions. Always maybe single word, compound words, or multiple words or phrases will be used. And suppose if you are having the menu bar items with multiple words, for example, some words you may have which has got multiple words, choice descriptions, that time you can use hyphens also in that case. And next is we have to place the keyword first. Usually a verb will be used, or it will be described first. So arrange a multi-item description so that descriptive and unique words appear at the beginning. Okay, so whenever you are having a, for example here, open recent, it's an multi or you say multiple words are having words you have in this particular description, is it? But which is the verb here, or which what exactly it does? It's opening, is it? Opening is a particular function is being done here, so that has to be appeared first. Our keyword has to be appeared in a very good manner. Okay, usually a verb has to be appeared there first. Okay, so here also close all, close and go to bridge. Okay, but this is a verb here that has to be placed in front. That is close, here open. Okay, so like this. Share on Behance means share is a keyword that is being placed first. So what task is being done, that has to be appeared first. And next we have capitalization also. Capitalize every letter, first letter. Okay, see if you have seen the particular description here, every letters are, first letter is being capitalized, so that also you have to remember. And next is task oriented wording. So that means task oriented wording usually positions a verb first, such as for example you may have manage customer information. Okay, simply if you are keeping customers, that may not, as a choice description, it may not be understood by the user. So what exactly it does? The task oriented wording should be there in the menu choices. Okay, not the data oriented wordings. Okay, next we have the use of parallel construction. Parallel construction, for example, you may have for example, printing a file, executing a program, and ejecting a disk. So this particular task can be parallelly constructed with the help of other choice descriptions, like simply print, execute, eject. Okay, simply if you write that much, you'll be understanding what exactly you can do in completing a task. See, that is called parallel construction. So instead of writing print a file, execute a program, eject a disk, okay, simply if you are writing print, execute, disk, eject, then you can easily do the task. Okay, so when choices are composed of phrases, use a parallel word construction in creating the choice descriptions for related choices. So continued portion of menu choice description. A menu choice must never have the same wordings as the menu title. So this is about talking about the relationship to the title. So you have a title initially, is it? So under titles you have many of the choices. So your menu choices should not have the same words as of the menu title. Okay, so that is one point. And next point is consistency across the menus. Identical choices on different menus should be worded identically. Okay, suppose if you have different menus, okay, and under the different menu you have the identical choices, okay, but these choices have to lead to same task, because it has got consistency across the menus. And next point is choices should not be numbered. So remember that whenever you are writing the choices, you should not have the serial numbers for the choices. Okay, so that is about numbering. Next we have, so exception, you have certain exception also. If the listing is numeric in nature, or graphic, or a list of varying items, it should be numbered. For example, in case of dates, now dates, okay, you say 31 days you have, for example. How you can show? You have to number that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 31. Okay, in that you cannot change the order there. It has to be numbered only. So that is a different exceptions we have, but usually these choices should not be numbered. And next is about command language. Okay, so if many options will be used in conjunction with the command language, the capitalization and syntax of the choices should be consistent with the language. Okay, consistent with the command language. And next is word choices as commands to the computer. So what is the meaning here is phrase all the menu choices as commands to the computer whenever possible. For example, you have one choice as save and exit. Okay, remember that you have got a choices save and exit. So this is a one choice. So instead of writing it as do you want to save and exit, yes or no, instead of asking the question, simply if you are writing the exact command itself, that is save and exit, that will be better. So that is about word the choices as commands to the computer. So don't ask the question that whether user want to save and exit, yes or no. That has to. So yes or no means the user has to react to that particular question. So instead of that, directly if you are going to write save and exit, it will complete the task. Is it? Because every time whenever user does certain tasks in computer, he wants always to save the particular task. Is it? So that so that is a complete command you can give for the. And also another choice you can write it as exit without saving. So that's also in a different manner you are going to write the same word save and exit. Our next guideline is about menu instructions. Menu instructions will be generally provided for the novice or inexperienced users. So when it is being actually presented to the user, it has to be placed in a menu itself, and it should be part of the menu itself. And next thing is it should be presented in a mixed case or font style or a sentence style, you can say. So any instructions whenever it's being given for the user, it should be presented in a sentence style, or you can say mixed case font style. So normally these menu instructions are used generally by the novice or inexperienced users, but sometimes expert users also use these menu instructions. So whenever you present menu instructions for the expert users, it should be presented in the same location. So suppose you close the system once and again you open up the system, the location of the menu should not be changed. Okay, so it has to maintain the consistency in displaying the menu. Okay, the location should not be changed. So present them in a consistent location and also display them in a unique type, style and also color. So color also matters here, and also the style, or you can say if you are presenting it in an italic style, it has to be exactly presented on the same location, in the same style and also same color. Okay, so because expert users normally ignore these kind of instructions, menu instructions, because they don't need instructions about what exactly the menu does or what task the menu does. These instructions will be normally ignored by the expert users. But these menu instructions will be more in much use for the novice or experienced users. Next guideline is about indent indicators. So what is this indent indicators? So you might have seen see you have a menu like view. Okay, under the view menu you have got number of choices like default properties, GUI, docking panes, toolbars, show messages. Okay, so these are the choices you have. So if you see carefully, you can see a particular shapes here that is presented. Is it like a triangle or a right pointing solid arrow is being placed? And also you can see that in some cases you will be seeing, see here, this is one more menu choices you have got, and in this particular menu choice, that is general properties, you have got the dotted lines. Can you see that? Dotted dots here. After general properties, you have got certain dots. So there is some meaning for writing these dots and also writing these kind of arrow marks. So let us see that. So these are indicators, Indian indicators we say. So there are two kinds. We have cascade indicators, window indicators, and also direct action items are also being placed on the menu. Is it? So let us see cascade indicators. To indicate the selection of an item that will lead to a submenu, we place a triangle or right pointing solid arrow following the choice. So a cascade indicator must designate every cascaded menu. So for example, here if you are seeing, you have a cascaded menu here. Okay, under the view menu we have got default properties, and then we have placed right pointing solid arrow or a small triangle you have placed. So that is indicating that you have the continuation of the menu, or the next menu list also you have, is it? Or the sub menu you will be having after this particular arrow mark. So that is about cascade indicator. So all here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 cascade indicators, is it? And next we have window indicator. So for choices that result in displaying a window to collect more information, place an ellipsis immediately following the choice. So that means here, for example, if you see this particular menu list, you have general properties and then you have got dots. Okay, so this means that it will lead to one more window. Okay, one more window will open up in the screen showing the general properties of the particular window. Okay, so that means a new window will be presented to the screen whenever user clicks on this particular general properties. Is it? So that is the meaning there. So simply do not place these dots whenever as you wish, because these dots also has got the meaning when you are displaying it on the screen. And there are certain exceptions. Do not use this kind of dots when an action displays a warning window, or simply placing this will be leading to a different meaning there. Okay, so if suppose if your particular menu does not open up a new window, then don't place these dots. Okay, so avoid the dots if you are not displaying any window, extra window there. Okay, so in this case, for example, in this case, whenever user clicks on this particular general properties, your extra window will be presented. Okay, that is with general properties. So that is the meaning here. And next is about direct actions. So what is this direct actions? So for example, here you have in the sub menu you have got image cursor or image plots. Okay, you don't have any cascade indicators or window indicators for this particular menu, because this leads to a direct action. Okay, so this is called direct action items. Examples for direct action items here. So for choices that directly perform an action, no special indicator should be placed on the menu. So simply just write the menu title, and under that menu choice, if you don't include any indicator or cascade indicator or a window indicator, that means it's performing a direct action. Whenever you click on this particular choice, it will perform the task. Okay, so for example, image window it's having, okay, it will perform a certain task when you click on this particular menu choice. Next guideline is about keyboard equivalents. Suppose you are not using a mouse thing that, and suppose if you are using a keyboard for interacting with the menu, then this kind of keyboard equivalents will be in use. Okay, so here to facilitate the keyboard selection of menu choice, each menu item should be assigned a keyboard equivalent mnemonic. So for example, if you see this particular menu, You can see that this format, this is a menu title and it's underlined with, for a letter O, it's being underlined. Okay, so this is a keyboard equivalent now. And next, if you see the choice cells, E is being underlined. Can you see that? And R, if you see row, that is row, R, if you see R is being underlined. Column, in column word C is being underlined. So what is the meaning of this? So these are called the keyboard equivalents. So you can choose this particular menu or menu choices can be selected using this keyboard equivalents. So mnemonic should be always the first letter of the menu items descriptions. Usually when you are choosing a menu, so mnemonic in the sense here you say for the word column you have a mnemonic C. Okay, C is a mnemonic that is being selected for and it's being underlined. Okay, and it should be very always remember that it should be the first letter. In case in sometimes it may not be the first letter. Okay, sometimes there may be certain duplications of first letters and then you have to use preferably the first succeeding consonant will be used. So for example, in this case the format, okay, F may be used for some other purpose. The letter F may be used for some other purpose. It may be used as a keyboard equivalent for any other choice. That's why we go for the next consonant, that is O. Okay, that is the next choice we have here. This O. Our first succeeding consonant is being selected for having the keyboard equivalent. Okay, so that is in this case. And if you see here C is present here in this first choice as well as here. Okay, but we have already selected the mnemonic C for this particular choice. So that's why in this case we are not going to select or underline C. We are going to for the next letter, that is E. E is selected here as a mnemonic. So that is about how you can choose a mnemonic. So remember that if you have the first letter that can be chosen, you can choose that, or else go for the next letter, succeeding letter. Okay, then designate the mnemonic letter by underlining it. So always remember that every mnemonic, whatever you have selected there, it should be underlined. Okay, and some other methods also can be chosen to just to display the mnemonic. That is with the different color also you can show the particular mnemonic, or with a different intensity or contrasting color bar also can be used just to show the or highlight the particular mnemonic there. And here, so there are certain industry standards also being used. So we use industry standard keyboards access equivalents when they exist. For example, we say in Microsoft Windows, we call these kind of keyboard equivalents as access keys. You might have heard about these access keys. So we have a standard keyboard equivalents that will be used whenever you use certain you are working with, whenever you use certain systems or whenever you are using certain operating systems. Okay, so you might have different kinds of keyboard equivalents that's being used. Standard keyboard equivalents we say. Okay, you'll be having certain chart also. So for example, about in case of word about, A is being selected as a keyboard equivalent. In case of find, F may be used, or P may be used as a mnemonic, and say S may be used as a mnemonic. So these are a few examples where the keyboard equivalents are being selected, or the mnemonics are being selected for choosing the right keyboard equivalent. So next guideline for writing the keyboard accelerators. So you might be thinking, what is this accelerators? Accelerators are the keys or combination of keys that invoke an action regardless of cursor or pointer position. For example, you may have used Control C. Is it? Control C is an accelerator which leads to copying of a file or copying certain picture. Is it? Hmm? Or Control P you might have used to print the file, or Control S to save the file, Control V to paste the file or paste certain contents. Okay, so these are nothing but this Control C, Control P, Control S or Control V are called accelerators. Why? Because we don't need to go to the menu and invoke the action. Instead of this, we call it as shortcuts. Is it? Shortcut method to access certain actions or tasks. Similarly, F1 may be usually used to display the window, or you say escape may be generally used to cancel the contents, or alt may be used to activate the menu bar. So these are the shortcuts, or we say it as accelerator. Okay, so generally they are commonly used to activate the menu item without opening actually the menu. Without opening the menu, you can activate the menu item in this case when you are using the accelerator. So here Microsoft Windows calls these as shortcut keys. And sometimes you call it as hotkeys also. So let us see what are the rules for writing these kinds of keyboard accelerators. So for frequently used items, provide a keyboard accelerator to facilitate keyboard selection. The accelerator may be one function key or combination of keys. Sometimes you may be using one function key, maybe F1, F2, F3. Those function keys may be used, or sometimes a combination of keys like Alt, Control C, or Control V, Control U, or Control I, like this. You may be using combination of keys to access any content of the menu. And function key shortcuts are easier to learn than modify plus letter shortcuts. Pressing no more than 2 keys simultaneously is preferred. So do not exceed 3 simultaneous keystrokes. So whenever you are having keyboard accelerators, when you are placing keyboard accelerators, do not use 3 keys simultaneously. For example, you can use do not exceed more than 3 keys. Okay. So here you are going to use say Control plus 1. Okay, you are going to press 2 keys at the same time, that is Control and 1. Similarly, Control C if you are using. Control and C will be pressed at the same time. So that is one more shortcut we have. So, but don't press 3 keys simultaneously at the same time. So such things, more than 3 keys should be avoided. Use a plus sign to indicate that 2 or more keys must be pressed at the same time. So usually when you are placing on the menu, if you are placing on the menu, you will be writing, see here, cell after cells we have written the keyboard accelerator as well. So with plus sign, so that indicates 2 or more keys will be pressed at the same time. Accelerator should have some associative value to the item. That means when you are performing certain, we are using accelerator, there will be certain values associated with that particular item. Identify the keys by their actual key top engraving. Okay. So remember that when you are displaying the accelerator, right hand aligned accelerator should be used. So let us continue with this keyboard accelerator only. Keyboard accelerators continued portion, that is, if keyboard terminology differences exist, use the most common keyboard terminology. Terminology contained on the newest and also terminology contained on the newest PCs. So you may be thinking which terminologies we have to use to particularly for particular choice description or choice, is it? So you have to use most commonly used keyboard terminologies. Okay, we use control C like this. Okay, most commonly used terminologies, theta, or alt also can be used in combination with other letters. So that is a common way to describe the particular accelerator. Okay, and next is separate the accelerator from the item description by 3 spaces. That means when you are having, for particularly maybe you have selected style as a menu, and under that menu you have italic as an menu choice. Okay, and after italic is being written, okay, you have to give 3 spaces, minimum of 3 spaces, and then you have to write the keyboard accelerator as control plus I. Okay, that is I have to give the 3 spaces, and right align the key descriptions. What you have to do, the keyboard accelerators will be always placed at the right hand side of the menu. Do not use accelerators for menu items that have cascaded menus. Okay, you know cascaded menus, maybe you have to sub menus. When you are going to place, you will be having a cascaded menu. Okay, so in that case, do not use the accelerators. So suppose if your main menu is leading to sub menus, okay, in that case, do not use this kind of accelerators. And whenever you use the pop-up menus also, do not use this keyboard accelerators. And use industry standard keyboard accelerators when they exist. Some of the industry standard keyboard accelerators, for example, you might have used in Windows, you might have used Control C for copying, Control N for opening the new file, or Control B for printing the file, Control S for saving, Control V for paste, Control X for cutting the file, cutting the particular picture, is it, or Control Z for undo, or is it? So like this, so many accelerators we have, keyboard accelerators, industry standard accelerators they are. Okay, so whenever you have industry standard accelerators, you can use them when they exist.